Hey guys, welcome to another video. Today we're going to be doing a baking video. So we're making my favorite, super favorite cake right now. We make it literally probably every week at this point, as well as some fun little rainbow cookies that you will see after the cake recipe. So here I'm just showing you the ingredients. Keep in mind I do use lactose-free milk, etc. But yeah, Iris is here to help me as usual because I need assistance. You know how it goes. And let's get into the recipe, shall we? So first things first, you're going to crack your 4 eggs into a bowl, and I am going to struggle for a little while with some eggshells, but hey. So a little side note, I have made this recipe a couple more times since I filmed this, and having said that, it is much better if you whisk the eggs before adding the sugar, just a side note. So next up, I'm going to measure the sugar, and I will leave all the measurements down below, basically a link to the recipe that I used. It is a Greek chef, so really I love the recipe. It's simply amazing. And Angel was trying to help me here. It was so cute. She has her little whisk. It's just, yeah. So as you can see, I whisked the sugar and eggs together, but it just doesn't work out very well. I'm not sure why. Anyway, adding vanilla essence as well as milk and oil, both in the same quantity. So about 150 mils of oil, 150 mils of milk. Angel was so cute helping me here. I do love baking with my girls. Iris was being a little bit of a, little naughty this day. She was kind of throwing things around and trying to throw things into the bowl. It was quite fun and interesting, to say the least. So at this point I had already added a pinch of salt, and I'm just going to add the baking powder as well as my flour. It's pretty much a dump and go kind of recipe, as in you put everything in the bowl and just kind of mix them as you go. And I love the fact that it's just like whisking by hand. You don't need to pull out a big mixer. You don't need to like do a whole big process. It's just super easy, super like just weigh out your ingredients, add them to the bowl, mix in order, and you're good to go. And I say mix in order because I did realize that if you don't kind of beat everything separately as you add it, it just, I don't know, it doesn't work out the same way. So yeah, so I take it step by step, and it literally takes you about 10 minutes. It is a super easy and super awesome recipe. You definitely need to give this one a try. Okay, so next up you're going to need another bowl, and you're going to want to separate the mixture into like 2 equal parts. I didn't do so well on the equal parts bit, so you'll see in the end. And then you add cocoa to one of them and kind of create a chocolate and vanilla mixture. So you have both mixtures. I definitely have way more chocolate. I think it's quite visible looking at the footage right now. Like, what was I thinking? Anyway, so oil and flour on the pan so the cake does not stick. I cannot speak today, so the cake does not stick. And this was the fun part. It took me like, yeah, my hand hurt after having to like tip the... I did do like really small portions though, and I made my lines very small. In hindsight, I would probably put a lot more, sorry, not less. What am I even? A lot more of the batter per like flavor and make the lines thicker. And here I simply just dumped all the chocolate in the center because I had way too much chocolate. So technically it was more of a chocolate cake with traces of vanilla in it. But, well, anyway, bake in the oven for 30 minutes. That's another thing I love about this recipe. It is super quick when it comes to baking. It only needs 30 minutes. It is amazing. And I mean, look at it. Like, you can tell. It's perfection, literally. Also, I love these pans, like the spring one where you just open it, like, seriously. Not such a fan of the fact that the bottom doesn't come off very easily. It did drive me a little bit crazy, just a little bit. I did salvage my cake, don't worry, it came out fine. But yeah, I do have a trick for that now. I do let it kind of sit for a lot longer. I didn't let it sit as much as I should have. But yeah, and cutting into it, you will see, yeah, chocolate cake with like hints of vanilla. I mean, you can tell that it would have been way better, like more of a zebra cake, if I had allowed larger amounts of vanilla and chocolate as I alternated and didn't put like such small quantities and made such, like so many layers. But yeah, other than that, this is the most delicious cake, guys. You need to try it. That's all I have to say about this cake. You definitely need to try it. And moving on to our cookies. This is a vegan cookie recipe. I did use an egg though instead of the flaxseed, which the recipe asks for, but I will be linking the like proper recipe down below. The link will be down below. I did change the flaxseed egg for a normal egg, and Iris was she was being like, she loves the mixer. She loves my big mixer, so she just wanted me to turn on the mixer and just go crazy with it. Anyway, so I'm just going to start by adding the sugar and butter. My butter is lactose-free butter, of course. So I'm just going to add those two into my large bowl and allow those to mix and become nice and fluffy. Now I will say, it does say in the recipe that you'd probably need to scrape it down at least once in order to get the result you want. I probably spent the entire recipe, like the entire process, scraping down my bowl. You'll see in a second. I had to scrape it at least, I think, 3 or 4 times just to get the butter and sugar to reach the consistency they need to reach. But yeah, it was an interesting recipe. I'll give it that. So I just had to keep on like scraping down the edges constantly with my little spatula. And Iris loved the mixer. She just loves it when it's just going like bing. I don't know why. Angel was always scared of it. She would never let me make cakes when she was Iris's age. But Iris, she loves the vacuum. She loves the mixer. I don't know. She's such a different baby. Anyway, back to the recipe. I'm moving on to So I scraped it down like several times. And every time I scraped it down, it would beat it nice and properly for a while. And then it would just kind of send it back up to the sides of the bowl and do nothing. But yeah, so this is how it turned out, which was a good thing. The recipe was progressing. That's what's important. So I added in the egg and gave that a good mix. And again, scraping down the bowl as I go is a necessity for this recipe. Adding vanilla essence and just, again, see, I'm scraping down the bowl. Like, I think it was the number one thing I did probably 10, 15 times throughout the entire recipe. I don't think I've ever had to scrape down a bowl so many times whilst making something. But anyway, so adding all the rest of the ingredients, I added the baking powder as well as the flour. And I'm actually quite specific, like trying to use cups. I do like measuring ingredients. I will say that I prefer the measuring of like with my little scale. I feel like recipes turn out better because when I use cups and stuff, it just, I don't know, it feels like a bit more eyeballing to me than, yeah, I don't know. What do you guys prefer? But anyway, so again, continuing the mixing process, and someone is cutting their grass while I'm doing this. Seriously? Continuing with the recipe. So this is what it turns out to be. It does say it will be a slightly stickier dough, so not as much of a dough as much as like a very firm mixture, really. So you're going to add in your sprinkles and you're going to just give that a good mix. Don't over mix at this point because it starts to like soften quite a lot. And that did happen as I was rolling out the cookies and trying to, Anyway, so I did cover it up and put it in the fridge for about half an hour, I believe. And once it was slightly firmer, I was able to mold out the cookies. And what you're going to do with the cookies is you're going to make a little bowl and then you're actually going to flatten them because they don't flatten completely. They will spread as you bake them, but they don't flatten completely in the oven. So you kind of need to give them a helping hand. And you'll also notice as I kind of progress through making these little cookie balls is that they get stickier and stickier because the warmth of my hands naturally, it's already a soft mixture. So it got really kind of softish and like it was sticking to my hands quite quickly compared to like another like normal cookie dough, let's say. So here I'm just patting it down, like I said, giving it a little helping hand because, And they did spread quite a bit, like I have to say. You'll see in a second. But yeah, I'm so proud of these. Like, look at me showing them off. Oh, goodness. Anyway, so into the oven they went. I do not remember how long they needed to bake for. Again, recipe down below. But look at them. They actually turned out really nice. Like, nice and golden and yeah. And when you cut the middle, like, it was nice and soft and chewy. Literally, these were really good. Like, I really, really enjoyed these cookies. I actually made them more so for Angel, who actually ate half of one of them, and that was pretty much it. Like, she's just so picky and ugh. Anyway. back to the cookies. Chewy, delicious, definitely give them a go. They are just, yeah, I'm really happy with them. Bit more scraping of the bowl and all that, but like, look at this, you'll see it now. Like, opening it up, the center is perfection. It's nice and soft and chewy and just yum. That's all I have to say, guys. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.